Welcome to the Akron cross country preview with head coach Dr. Tim Sykes. Coach, just talk about your team's, overall mood. The past couple weeks heading into the season opening meet, the Tommy Evans Invitational at the Silver Lake cross country course in Norton this Friday.
So we've been together as a men's and women's group for about 10 days now, and so as the team has been around each other longer, we've meshed, through some team building and some culture building. We've gotten some quality training and recovery in. And then we've had some time just to relax, enjoy the beauty of Akron when it's not the hustle and bustle of the semester. And so it's been a good transition back to campus. And I think, as one of the student athletes mentioned earlier, it's a continuation of the summer training. And so at this point, we try not to change too much in their weekly training cycles, and we just try to keep the momentum building from the summer. And so we've kept our volume pretty high at this point in our mileage, and we've kept our workout volume pretty high. We've made it over to Silver Creek cross country course twice now, and we've gone and enjoyed the beauty of some of the metro parks here around campus, and specifically we've gone out to the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. So we're blessed to have amazing places to train. We're blessed to obviously be bringing men's cross country back after a four-year hiatus there, and to have a strong group of young women that are a mix of veterans and a really strong incoming class of this freshman incoming recruiting class. And so we have a mix of international students. We have a mix of a state champion as a freshman, and then we have a strong veteran class that 5 of the ladies will be returning that were consistently in our top 5 last year. And so the roster's grown. We were at 10 ladies last year, and now we're at about 17 ladies this year. So by default, I think that should move us up in the MAC standings just by having a larger roster. And I know the ladies are more excited because they have more training partners and friends, and they can feed off each other's energy. And the men, we have a strong 10. We have a core group of 10 young men that some had been here for a few years, and others are new. They were a few international young men that will contribute right away at a high level. And so I think all those things compiled, the excitement around men's and women's cross country is really high right now. And I would say, compared to last year at this time, I was just getting to know the ladies and the men as they were doing their track off-season training. And I think, we're all feeling each other out and building that coach-athlete relationship. And now that's been built. And we have a group of freshmen in, and they've adapted really well and become part of the men and women's cross-country family. And I think it's just going to be an exciting season just because of those factors alone, even before we start our first meet at Tommy Evans here this Friday.
You talked last year about you were getting in late with this team, a late jump. What does it mean this year, or how has it been different, knowing that you've had the full year of training with these kids, the conditioning, the everything, so you're coming through, fully primed in a sense with how you want to move forward with this team in the training and the competitions?
I think Danielle said this nicely before. In the spring, there was some good momentum on the outdoor track, and I think we had finally come to the conclusion that we were working together on the training plans, and we were moving forward fitness-wise, and we found out what worked for each individual, and they came together as a team really nicely in the outdoor track and field championships. And so it really took about 2 semesters to evolve to that, and I think now they knew what to expect over the summer I use a lot of acronyms and fun acronyms and things, and I think they're learning those acronyms and what those pace ranges mean. And it's exciting that they're confident now. They're confident in what we're doing. And overall, I think that confidence that I'm now seeing is the biggest difference in when I first started and now. They're confident in what they're doing and that it works. And they're good models now for the young people that are coming in and seeing, hey, this is what you can do if you buy in and consistently put in good training and recovery and have a well-balanced lifestyle.
Kind of what are some of the things that we maybe should expect from this women's team this year? You have a nice returning core of upperclassmen. You've brought in some newcomers to kind of balance it out and add depth. What should we expect maybe this fall?
Expectations are a lot higher this fall than they were last. I think last fall, the results were going to be what they were. I started this today, basically last year, and we had our first meet at Ohio University the day after I started here at the University of Akron. And so expectations are higher. The athletic administration, they value what we do as a program for the overall athletic department in the university, and I've conveyed that to the ladies squad in our goal setting and expectations meeting that we had earlier this week, and that expectations are high, meaning, we want to take that momentum of where we finished last year, and we want to place about 5 places higher than that. And I think McKenna mentioned it, if we can be in the top half of the MAC schools this year. The MAC, as we know, is a really good cross-country conference on the women's and men's sides, a distance conference. And so if we can finish in the top half, that's a big step in the right direction on the women's side. And we're confident, we have the parts in place to do that. We have the mindset to do that. We have the confidence now. And it's just a matter of staying healthy and continuing our fitness progression. And we believe we have a good opportunity to finish in that top 6 teams here come October 28th.
Now, looking at the men's side, you talked earlier about you've got a team returning from a 4-year hiatus, but you've got a number of members of your team which ran cross-country here. Just talk about the value of that as you're setting the expectations for this team with a lot of newcomers, but also with somebody like Brian Masai, who had an outstanding spring and, numerous, MAC championships, All-American status. What does it mean molding everybody together for expectations for this fall?
That's a great question. I think it took a young man like Brian Masai for some of the young men that were currently here to see, hey, this is kind of the standard of what we can do. We see a guy that he's able to do these things and achieve these things. We train beside him, every day. And so the sky's the limit for the returners. I think because of a guy like Brian Masai, they now see that, a large volume of training each week is attainable, and you can still stay healthy and perform at a high level. And I think they've bought into that, the returners. And now we have 3 young men, especially one a grad transfer in Kenneth Easterling, and then we have 2 other international men that not going to give away all of our secrets and information right now, but I think they could be just as good as Brian Masai. And then we have a group that was just up here, 2 young men, and Anthony and Kyle, Zaid Elkert and Gene Duval. They have the ability to file in nicely to those 4, 5, 6, 7 spots. And we know in cross country it really takes seven people being accountable to one another on the day to have a good team score. 5 score, but it really takes 7 to be able to step into a scoring role if someone's having a bad day. And we know we have that in place now on the men's side, and I think it's a matter of a couple weeks here working on still coming together, getting a few of the guys acclimated that just arrived here on campus 5 days ago. And once that happens, I think, as Kyle said, there's potential if all the pieces fall into place that we could be in the mix at the end of the MAC championship on the men's side of beating Kent, most importantly, but then also potentially winning a MAC championship. So, but a lot has to go right. And as I've told our great athletic director, I don't like to be too forward thinking because, cross country is one of those sports where you got to be healthy on the day. We don't have a lot of backups.
You talked a little bit about it earlier, but what does it mean to be able to run in the Silver Creek course knowing that a year from now you're going to host an NCAA regional?
That's experience, and we talk about this a lot as a team. You have to have experience and be able to replicate those experiences to be good when the time comes. And the reason we're going to some of the meets that we're going to on the men's and women's side is because if we experience it once, then when we come back to it, it's going to be more familiar and more comfortable, and we know what to expect. And so it's going to take some of the fear away. I think our sport, there's fear there because it hurts to run 5,000, 6,000 meters on the women's side and 8,000, 10,000 meters on the men's side. And so, as McKenna said there, it's a rolling, hilly course. There's some really good flats and downhills, and I think if you have the experience of getting out there once and seeing it a year from now when regionals rolls around, that experience is going to be in their memories and in the forefront of their memories, and they're going to be ready to go.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.